Today we gather not to mourn but to celebrate the life of an extraordinary man, George Foreman. He was more than a boxing legend, he was a beacon of strength, resilience, and kindness. His impact stretched far beyond the ring, touching lives through his unwavering faith, generosity, and love for others. George was a warrior, not just in sports but in life. He faced challenges head-on, always rising stronger, always inspiring those around him. He had a heart as big as his punches, and his legacy is not just in the titles he won, but in the lives he changed. I never imagined standing here today, saying goodbye to my dear friend George. He wasn't just a champion in the ring, he was a fighter in every aspect of life. He stood for perseverance, for second chances, and for the belief that anyone could rise above their circumstances. His strength wasn't just physical, it was the kind of strength that lifted others, that gave hope when it was needed most. Our friendship was forged in the heat of the ring, but it extended far beyond boxing. George had a unique way of making everyone feel like they belonged, like they were champions in their own right. His wisdom, humility, and kindness made him more than an athlete, he was a giant in life. I still remember the first time I met George. It was at a boxing charity event, and his presence was undeniable. But what struck me most wasn't his accolades or the stories of his victories, it was his warmth. He treated everyone, from world champions to young aspiring fighters, with the same level of respect and kindness. That was George, never too big to be humble, never too busy to care. One moment that will always stay with me was a time we were training together. I was struggling with a technique, frustrated beyond belief. George put his massive hand on my shoulder and said, "Winning isn't about knocking someone down, it's about lifting others up." That was his philosophy in life. He believed true success wasn't in titles, but in the impact you had on people. And George lived that every day. Beyond the sport, George was full of life. He was a storyteller, always sharing lessons wrapped in humor. He had this remarkable ability to find something positive in every situation. Even when talking about his toughest fights, he focused on the lessons learned, the growth that came from the struggle. But George's greatest gift was his ability to believe in people. He dedicated himself to mentoring young athletes, teaching them that their worth wasn't measured by wins and losses, but by their character and determination. He funded community programs, trained aspiring boxers, and guided troubled youth towards a better path. He was more than an athlete, he was a mentor, a leader, a light for so many. One of my favorite memories of George was watching him work with kids in a youth boxing program. He wasn't just a celebrity to them, he was a hero. But instead of standing above them, he got in the ring, showed them techniques, encouraged them, and told them to dream big. "You've got this, kid," he'd say. And those words carried more power than any punch he ever threw. George was also a devoted family man. He loved his family with the same passion he showed in the ring. He often spoke about the importance of having a support system, of staying grounded no matter how high you climbed. His love for his family was evident in every decision he made, in the way he prioritized them over everything else. Even in his later years, George never lost his humor. He had this booming laugh that could light up any room. He loved to tease, always throwing playful jabs, both verbal and physical, but always with love. He once told me, "You may have the movies, but I've got the real punches," and we both laughed, knowing that no Hollywood fight scene could ever compare to the real thing. He was a fighter in every sense, not just in the ring but in life. He faced setbacks, personal struggles, and defeats, yet he always came back stronger. He showed us that failure doesn't define you, what matters is how you rise after the fall. When I faced my own challenges, I often thought of George's words, of his ability to push forward, to keep fighting. The last time I saw George, we sat down and talked about life, about what really matters. He told me, at the end of the day, it's not about the belts, the trophies, or the fame. It's about how you make people feel, and he was right. Because George's legacy isn't just about his victories, it's about the countless lives he touched, the people he inspired, the hope he gave to so many. Even now, I can almost hear his voice, telling me not to dwell on sorrow, but to carry his spirit forward. He wouldn't want tears, he'd want us to keep going, to keep believing, to keep fighting for what's right. He'd want us to remember the good times, the lessons, the laughter, and to honor his memory by living with the same passion he did. George wasn't just my friend, he was my mentor, my brother, my inspiration. He showed us all what it truly means to persevere, to love, to embrace life even in the hardest moments. And though he may no longer be here, his legacy will never fade. He lives on in every story, every lesson, every life he touched. From the moment I met George, I knew there was something extraordinary about him. He had a way of making you feel seen, valued, and understood. His wisdom wasn't just something he shared in words, it was woven into his actions, his resilience and his unwavering kindness. Whether you were struggling with a difficult decision, facing an unexpected hardship, or simply needed someone to talk to, George was always there with a listening ear and thoughtful advice. He never judged, he only uplifted. One of the things I admired most about George was his determination. Life threw many obstacles his way, but he never let them break his spirit. He faced challenges head-on, always finding a way forward with courage and grace. His strength wasn't just in his ability to endure, but in his willingness to keep going with a heart full of hope. No matter how dark the road it had seemed, George found a way to bring light to it. His perseverance was contagious, inspiring all of us to keep pushing forward, no matter what we faced. But George wasn't just strong. He was also incredibly compassionate. He had a rare ability to make people feel like they mattered. He celebrated our victories as if they were his own, and when we stumbled, he was the first to extend a helping hand. He believed in people, sometimes more than they believed in themselves. Through his encouragement and support, he helped so many of us find our paths, our passions, and our purpose. His kindness was a gift to the world, and it's one that will never be forgotten. Beyond his strength and compassion, George had a deep appreciation for life. He found joy in the simplest moments, a shared laugh, a heartfelt conversation, a quiet evening under the stars. He taught us to cherish the present, to embrace each experience with an open heart, and to never take a single day for granted. He reminded us that life is not just about surviving, but about truly living. His love for life was infectious, and it made all of us want to live more fully, love more deeply, and give more generously. Though George is no longer physically with us, his impact remains. He lives on in the kindness we extend to others, in the dreams we dare to chase, in the resilience we show in the face of adversity. His lessons continue to guide us, his laughter still echoes in our memories, and his love will forever be a part of who we are. Losing George has left a void that can never be filled, but his spirit remains woven into the fabric of our lives. He taught us that love, strength, and kindness are the greatest legacies a person can leave behind. And in that sense, he is not truly gone. He is here in every story we tell about him, in every act of generosity we extend, in every moment we choose to embrace life the way he did. So as we remember George today and always, let us honor him by living as he did, with courage, with kindness, and with an unbreakable spirit. Let us carry his legacy forward, ensuring that his influence continues to touch lives just as profoundly as it touched ours. George may have left this world, but he will never leave our hearts. So today, we don't say goodbye, we say thank you. Thank you for the lessons, the laughter, the wisdom. Thank you for showing us what it means to be strong, to be kind, to be great, not just in the ring, but in life. Rest easy, George. You were and always will be a true champion, a fighter, a legend, and most importantly, a man who made the world better just by being in it. Rest in peace, my friend.